Hey, g'day guys, Sam here from Trade to Prosper, doing another live video update on cryptocurrency market, as well as some charts on the mainstream markets. And basically my job is to align them and see what's happening and what's likely to happen and what's not likely to happen. And hopefully by going through the process like a workshop, I might come up with some strategy along the way. I haven't looked at the markets in detail today, so I'll do that while I speak. But if you could bear with me for 5 minutes, I'm running a bit late. I'm going to feed my kids a bit. I haven't finished it, and as soon as I get that done, I'll come back. Meanwhile, have a look at the charts um, from different perspectives, and I'll join you soon. There's my main chart. Okay. Well, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, let's start, guys. I'm back. Let's look at the main markets at the moment. Where'd it go? Okay, just looking at this quickly, we can see that the SP 500 hasn't really changed much, and it's still, if you look at it from this perspective, the 618 is acting as resistance, along with the US dollar. I looked at the US dollar in a bit of detail, and what we can see that is from this micro formation, if we use this as one, the 1.618 is pretty much got a response, which tells me that line is significant. From a bigger picture, I'm sure there's more to go, but for the short term, I do see that this will be resistant and potentially pull back. Excuse me, pull back to some sort of another bullish formation or continuation pattern to the upside. So this is the daily, this is a 12-hour chart, and we're still in the uptrend. So nothing has changed that fact that we're still in uptrend, and the indicators aren't going to really help us much on this one. So we're just going to go with the trend line. And what we have here is, give us a sec. Why is not clicking? So that must be the 50 there. So the 50 moving average on the daily is acting as our main macro trend line. And I would say that until we lose that, well, we've got the 20 and the 10 as well. So there is there likely to be a bit of a pullback? I do think so. So if this was the pullback, the US dollar index, would that give us the SP 500 an opportunity to break this middle section of the trend line? So it gives a sec. So what we have here is also, I suppose, using the pitchfork method, this middle line seems to be the main difference between the low section, this half of the channel, versus the top half. So we need to break this to get, I think, for Bitcoin to go bullish as well. So it's coming to an area where there is still much resistance. We talked about it from yesterday's or the day before, and it is. If I was to apply this other trend line, you can see it's still a potential descending wedge, and as I said the other day, I do see a bit of action here. Well, consolidation and potentially to the upside. I still think that's going to happen. What would Bitcoin do in the meantime? No idea. If it is correlated to the SP 500 or the Nasdaq. So here we've got the Nasdaq. It's got a formation of some sort, and with TradingView's new feature, we can push that aside, which is really good. I've discovered that today. So the Nasdaq has, which is the technology space, has a line that needs to be broken, and that hasn't broken yet. So that might be good news for Bitcoin if we were to break that. Would that correlate to Bitcoin in a similar fashion? Potentially so. So this one is Bitcoin. Could be a reversal, and like I said the other day, we have our A, B, C. Oh, sorry, A here, B, C, D, and potentially. So what we have, if we're to get in close to that, let's just go back a step and get a close up on this. Unfortunately, I've just got to move this way and then maximize it. So if we look at this, I've got a number of indicators in there along with the Fibonacci. the Bollinger Band. It's on the top of the Bollinger Band, the middle section of the Bollinger Band. Let's just put that in there. There's the basis. Let's just make that white, thicker. So Bitcoin has broken above the basis. And that's more drawing, so I don't want that. Just give us a sec. So if we look at from this perspective, we have the 10 and 20 moving average. And I believe, the 13 and 50, okay. The 13 and 50 moving average. And it's currently acting as support. So we've got the crossover, which is a nice bullish, to me, this is a bullish sign. So the fact that we've got a crossover, along with this Bollinger Band to the top side, as well as this medium, I do feel like this is going to be a breakout to the top. So we might just get that squeeze and break out. So I would use this level as a breakout. I do feel like it's going to go up. So I would start looking to buy in. Now, mind you, I don't expect this to be the macro reversal anytime soon. I'm just saying there's a trading opportunity there. So until we get the weekly and the 2 weekly and so on, I would wait for more clues to it. So we have so much to go through. But anyway, I'll discuss certain scenarios from the macro perspective, some updates that I've observed where people have tweeted, but I do see this likely to break up to the upside, and I would also caution you to use this trend line. Just a sec. I will use this trend line as my stop loss indicator. So just pretty much like that. If you get a trend line of some sort, and this one was a wedge of some sort, when it breaks, comes down. So I would use this in the same fashion, maybe even increase the angle, just to play on the safe side. But at the short term, it is bullish, and this is a significant resistance level. Like I said, it's the 618 level. You can see this level here has a lot of traffic, a lot of support, a lot of resistance, and even when it breaks up to the upside, it doesn't stay there long. So we might have that as well. We could, and it wouldn't surprise me that we go above and then we come back down. But this time around, this could be used as support. The reason why I'm saying is it's got more of a business case now that we've got 3 touches and resistance. And the way the strategy works, minimum 3 touches to confirm it's a resistance line. 2 touches, when I say 2 touches or 3 touches, it has to be clear effort. So for the newbies, if you get a resistance, that's not counted as resistance. Second touch, it makes it more of a resistance. Third touch, now it's confirmed as a resistance. So if the fourth touch, if it breaks above, it would likely hold and then go up. So this is a breakout strategy, and it turns out to be a ascending triangle of some sort. But this is a method you would want to have a minimum of 3 touches, 4 touches or more, and then a breakup above it will confirm that that is a strong resistance. Therefore, in theory, it should be a strong support. And you will see in many cases where there's 2 touches and it goes up and then comes back down, and because it hasn't been confirmed. So be careful how you approach these charts. We're talking about likelihood, probability. It's not absolutely guaranteed, but here we have 1, 2, 3, and pretty much close to 4 clear, and we've got to see it come out of it. So you can't, like, this is not, I wouldn't count all this as 3 touches. This is just 1, because it's a clear effort of pulling back. So having a clear effort of pulling back, that is a touch and a clear resistance. So at this point, we have 2 touches to the bottom, and it's knocking on this. So this is fitting into the strategy for a breakout. So, but when you do that, you can see that even though it's a descending, that line is clear resistance and a good strategy, it doesn't negate this one here as well, the 618, because this is a clear resistance as well. So I'm giving you some strategy here for you guys to learn how to trade, and I won't be doing too much of those. The other clear evidence is, and as you can understand, let's just get this out. We have two touches to there as well. So we have, let's see where we get it. We've got one touch here, knock back, and the second touch here. So even if this breaks up, expect a knockback. Yep. And depending how that behaves, so just say it does come out and then hits. If it goes above it, that's going to be a surprise. And then we got this 200 weekly moving average. So that's going to be another resistance around here. So it's not easy trading. And the volume is probably crap. Let's see the volume for a sec. Yeah, so if you look at the volume, this is the 4 hour. Let's just look on the daily. Let's see what it looks like. Actually, let's just clean this up a bit. So what we have is a formation that looks good, but the volume doesn't look good. So that's the climax. It's like a bearish volume divergence, but the formation is good. So what we have, and I've seen someone else use it, and likely so. Let's just get rid of that color. Really annoys me when I change charts, the color doesn't follow. The color follows. So let's see if we can pick a different color. So what we have is 1, 2. This is a W formation. This is likely could go down, but I do see it coming to this area, and you can see the macro, that trend line is likely to be resistance, and will probably come back down. But at least you can trade up to that level. That level there, I'm using this moving average. So that moving average is a 50 daily moving average. So that will be. So what we have here actually. Okay, the 13. Let me see if we got the 20. So the 20 moving average is actually doing a good job. So this, what is that? Give me a sec, guys. I'll turn that on. So that's our 20 moving average as well on the daily. So what we have here, the 20 has been broken, acting as support. So if we go there, just going to make sure it's on the daily. Yep. Things are looking good. So this formation, this structure is looking good. And although we have a bit of resistance here, the structure, the moving averages all fall in line. And if we break this level, it's going to become bullish, in my opinion. At the moment, you can see the daily red candle, but it might consolidate. If we're going to engulf in red candle, then forget it. That's a rejection. Now let's have a close look again. 8 hour. What I want to do is get rid of this for a sec. I would like to get rid of the 13. Okay, so this is our 20 moving average, which is a significant number. We've got the Bollinger Band on the top range, so pushing, because the Bollinger Band's not spreading wide yet. It might. Let's see the 4 hour. So the Bollinger Band is porting upwards. On the bigger time frame, what we want to see on the bigger time frame with the Bollinger Band is this spread wide. That will tell us that there's momentum coming in. At the moment, it is going upwards, and this one's coming downwards. So that's telling me there's a squeeze coming in, and therefore it could do that. But what we want to see is, and obviously if we get a nice green candle here, this will go that way. So the Bollinger Band is looking positive. The 20 moving average was a resistance right there. You can see that. It was acting as resistance, the 20 daily moving average. Now it needs to hold that level. That level is 20,000. Actually, let's have a look at that. I'll put the numbers in. No. Show us the arguments. Yep. And the values. Not the arguments, but the values. Okay. So the value, 20 moving average, is 20,300 is acting as support. So let's go back in close. Okay. So if we lose that, it's not a good sign on the 4 hour. So we don't want to lose this line here. So that's going to be tested because that was resistance. Now it's going to be tested. Got this trend line that also needs to hold. So I would use this Bollinger Band, probably this middle one, along as it's going up, as our mean. So if this was comes down weeks, that's fine, but we don't want to see the candles close below this or close below that. So there's two conditions. If it does, it's going to come down. That's how I'll see it. At the moment, a nice ascending triangle. We'll see how that works out. I would yet to look. I want to see it test here. This area, I want to see what the response is. If there's some support and the 4 hour stays above it, we'll get a 4 hour candle, green candle holding on, and then start moving on. I would look to go to enter there. So short term wise, looking good. Told you about the resistance levels, key resistance levels. That's going to be needs to be broken. Put that moving out. Put that Fibonacci back in there. The golden pocket that's there. So we've got to see Bitcoin trying to break through there. But if you enter here with a green candle, I think that's a good sign. Have your stop losses, as I said, way below this Bollinger Band mean. And if you want to be more conservative, probably under this green candle here for your stop loss. You don't want to see it come down. Ideally, it should be down here, but it's a bit of a loss. I'm playing this market with tight stop losses. Okay, so what would give us a case where this is going to be bullish? Well, we're looking at the SP 500 and so on. Let's go back there. So when we look at that, this has to go bullish as well. I can't see where. This is the confusion I have. A bit of a mismatch. The SP 500 is not really going down on the daily. It's going up. So we've got a few days upwards, even though dollar is going upwards as well. So that's contrary. So usually when the dollar goes up, the rest drop. And in this case, it hasn't. It's really holding on. So that's a bit of a mixed message that I can't work out. Maybe a bit of exhaustion, but the fact that the US dollar has gone up, and this is the 12 hour, on the 2 days it's been going up, this is still slowly crawling up. So there is a mismatch there. The NASDAQ is pretty much doing what the SP 500 is doing, and I suppose what Bitcoin's doing as well. So things aren't really in sync when it comes to the US dollar. So I'll leave it at that. Now, if you've got any questions, pop them. Otherwise, I'll continue on if there's anything that you want to relook at. But that's my short-term strategy, is to look for a trade. Now we can look at other coins. Let me just check this one out for the heat map. Let me see what's going on there. Again, this also shows the main resistance band, and I was showing this last time. Where are we? Drawing. So this point of control based on profile. So this level is going to be basically, and this level is still resistance. So you can say that is resistance as well. There is, and you can see with the greens, a bit of intensity for orders there, but there's much more orders here. You can see all these yellows, and the brighter colors are more, the bigger the orders. There's a lot of orders waiting down here, open interest. Which is the biggest order? There's 424, 480. Oh, that's a big one. So 15,000's got a fair bit bigger orders there. I think this, what it does is it's 992 Bitcoins. I think that's what it represents. And there's nothing really here that can help us out. All right. But yeah, you can see that there's a lot of demand in this pocket. So if it was to drop here, I do see this as a strong buying area. And anyway, even this has, yeah, all right. Just let's continue on. Let's see from another perspective. So we talked about the short term, the monthly. That's actually the weekly. Let's look at the weekly. So this was a perspective I was looking at the other day. And you can see that moving averages acting as a resistance. What's this one here? Okay, that's okay. So what we have is a channel. From a bigger picture, we want to see it break this channel to really think that we're going somewhere. So that until we break this channel, it's not going to be that great. What we've noticed in the past, and if I bring it back just for you guys in context, 2017, we had the pullback. So we had our A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elite wave count. The 200 moving average on the daily acted as a resistance, and kept acting as a resistance. So this historically showed a lot of resistance. Then we got this one here. I think that's a 4-hour. Yep. It also played its role along the way. So historically, you can see what it did. Similarly here. So this is our, let's see where that is. Okay, so this is our 4-hour one, acting as resistance. And when it's broken, we go. This was a good move, and you use the 200 weekly as support. Very similar there. Here, it's played resistance, the 4-hour, the 200 on the daily as resistance. So this is coming down very steeply, and this is going to be, along with this channel, our resistance until we break that. So if we were to look bullish, it's going to get knocked back. Question is, how far would it? So there will be a bit of a battle there along with the channel. This will be a strong resistance line, even that. So even if we go there, I do see it coming back down, and that's where I'm looking. I'm hoping it goes up there, because that would be a great short. And and I'm still looking for this pocket, like I discussed the other day, around here. So that moving average could probably play into it if we get this reversal. If this is a continuation, then I'll be looking for here for an entry as well. So that's from the big picture perspective. Looks messy. Uh, in what context? The moving averages. There's only two moving averages really. And if you're new, okay, what indicators are you using? EMA? There's two. So this one you can see the TGMA, which is pretty good. You can use many versions. So let's change this to blue, so people can see. Actually, I'll make it all blue. That's a 4 hour. 200 on the 4 hour. This one. These two is the daily SMA, and the other one is EMA. So we've got two of them. SMA and EMA, they do play their role, and so what we want to see is confluence. The 200 4-hour moving average is currently our main resistance. It's pretty much confirmed that on a few occasions. There, active support there, resistance there, a whole bunch of resistance there. So it's significant. But let me reiterate, everything has to be in context. A moving average on its own is not enough. If a moving average is in line with a Fibonacci, you've got two elements that tell you, yes, a strong case. A trend line makes it even more. That's 3. If you've got a bearish candle, that's 4. So the more you know how to read the chart, trend lines, formations, etc., you understand that spot could be a good trading potential. So just an example here, you got a indecision candle. So you got a green candle, indecision, and then back down. In some cases, it gives you a bit of a warning. This one was very, very abrupt. So again, we're going to see what happens here. But for the short term, I use Fibonacci. I'll just use my Fibonacci there. Yeah, previous resistance, support, and you can see this golden pocket is going to be our resistance. Short term, that's how you look at it. And you've got your trend lines. So this moving average has yet to come. We're still talking about it. We're keeping our vision in the future. And you can see how this weekly 200 moving average is coming into the picture. Historically, this has been a strong support. And so you can imagine this is going sideways. This is going across. We've got the previous resistance. And you got this trend line. Geez, that's going to be a strong resistance if this gets above. That's where you're short. If it gets to there and all the rest. And that's why this could be a channel or a bear flag, very similar to that. And so you look at the big picture ahead of time, as well as looking at small term opportunities, and that's what I'm looking at. At the moment, I'm looking for small term opportunities. I'm not looking to go in big. I'm just looking to make a trade, get some small leverage, high leverage, small trade, and then look for a big resistance. But when you do that, my whole point about looking across the other charts is pretty important. These are a whole bunch of indicators, different time frames. I'm not going to look at that. Now, here's the weekly. Let's just pick one indicator at a time and let's go through it. For those who want more information, how do you set up your horizontal lines for support and resistance? I'm not going to teach you that here. Actually, I'll teach you here. You want to know how to do that kind of stuff? Give me a sec. My website, just go there, free course. support and resistance. Click on that. Just accept, and this shows you what support and resistance is. Explains it. I think there is some videos in there as well, just like that. Goes into detail. So yeah, there's some basics there. If you want to learn more after doing the basics, then you need to pay. That's what my website's about. I would recommend that you guys, those who know candlesticks and all the rest, this is a good one for all the newbies. And yeah, just don't have to register. Just click on. So I'll leave it at that. All right, let's go. Moving on. So let's look at what I've got. Let me see. Not that one. You can see how many charts I have on Bitcoin from different perspectives. Right, this is the main one. So this is a weekly chart. And if you want to know from a big picture perspective, when this crosses over, right at the bottom or right at the top, it generally tells you that there's a change in direction. But in context, so here you can see how this lined up very well there, pretty much showing a bearish divergence, crossing over. On its own, it's not enough. You got to understand the levels. And similarly, crossover there, you can see with certain strategies. I'm not going to go into the strategies. It's not my job here. You want to learn strategies, you need to pay for the course. No one gives anything for free these days. And there's other strategies. I teach 5 main strategies. Short-term trend. There's a trend there. I'll teach that as well. How to trade that. They're very strong strategies that work. And similarly, on downtrend, there's also a strategy as well. But this indicator, so to feel comfortable that this is the bottom, you would want to see this crossover. I see a bullish divergence coming here. So I do see a bit of a rally coming in. I just like to see that crossover on the weekly. And on the 2 weekly, we got a long way to go. Different time frames give you different stories. So the 2 weekly is a better indicator, not a monthly. Monthly is a bit late. It is a good indicator, but a monthly is a bit late in the picture. You want to see, like this, a crossover. And so similarly, I want to see on the 2 weekly a crossover. When we see the crossover, sometimes it drags on. But you know what? Risk or reward ratio, when you see this crossover, you've got a better chance. What's the website? No, okay, I'll just type it here. Oops. There you go. Oh. It will not let me. Doesn't let me type net. So it's trade2prosper.net. I think TradingView prevents you from putting websites on the chat. It sucks. All right. So this is the wave trend. It's freely available, and from a weekly, 2 weekly, even a monthly, you can see what's happening. So the monthly, if you want to play it safe, wait for the monthly crossing over. Monthly is much more. Now this is a delayed. This is a delayed indicator. So it comes in late in the picture. All of them do. Most of them do. And I do see this. You can see the bearish divergence here, right? Crossing there. My son's whinging. I'll close the door. He's pretty loud. Sorry about that. So you can see how that works. Bearish divergence. And if you didn't, and if people didn't see that, you're lost, because that basically told you that it's going to drop. The moment this crossed over, kid you not, it's pretty simple. But you got to look at the monthly, I suppose, and not many people do. And I didn't. I didn't look at the monthly either. I was looking at the short term. But you got a crossover there. That's your first signal, and then you've got another crossover here, which pretty much shows a bearish divergence and therefore massive pullback. The problem is you don't know how far it's going to go down, but you know from a monthly perspective, get out. That is your get out signal. And if we got that, so let's see, let's do this for a sec, just to give you an idea. TradingView gives you replay. Come on, let me replay. Right, so I've killed the future, and if you practice this, let me just get rid of that for a sec. If I was just going along with this market and I'm thinking of entering, you've got no idea there. But if we click on, where is he? Here it is. Click on next move. Jeez, it's a bit slow, isn't it? So we've got to cross over to the bullish side. One more candle. So that's bullish. And so if you can look at that at the moment, it's crossed over to the bullish side. But if and if it crosses back down again, oh come on, here we go. It's a bit slow. Now we've got the second crossover. That candle was pretty much your get out from a monthly basis because it's crossed over again, and you've got the bearish divergence, and the rest is history. Because that's crossed over, candles closed, and you got the two bearish candles engulfing that. From a candle perspective, that is the get out. You got the 200 moving averages to say get out. You drop the 200 moving average acting as resistance, get out. So you had a whole bunch of signals to say get out. And obviously, you don't know how far it's going to go down, but that was your escape clause. So something simple like that, knowing how to look at it, is pretty good. So we can go to the second one. Stochastic, what I've done in the past, I'm still looking for this to cross over on a monthly. So I want to see this crossover, but I do want to see it come above this level before I think it's bullish. I'm still thinking along the lines that this is our A move around here somewhere. It's in the facility, so it can, and our B move is going to be our 200 moving average. If it comes down there, that's our B move, and then our C could be a double bottom, so we can have a W formation, or we have a deeper pullback. So 10k, 12k is in the ballpark. I do think there will be a bit of a bounce here, and maybe a rejection there before it goes down. So I'm looking at it, and that could be it. A massive descending wedge. We'll see how that goes. That's the theory at the moment. These are the things I'm looking at. So alley wave is pretty important to understand in terms of the cycle. Next chart, next indicator on the weekly. Let's see how it goes on the weekly. Okay, there's a bit of a crossover on the weekly there. So let's see how this weekly closes, because that could just come back down. So how that week closes off is going to be pretty important. Ideally, like I said, you want to see a change in trend. And if you don't know what that is, you need to look at that free course I mentioned. It will tell you at the moment. That's the weekly level right there. To be bullish at all, you need to see the weekly candle close above that. So if until we have a weekly candle close above this level, you can't look at it from a bullish perspective. So many times here, for instance, that's a lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high. That's a lower high, and the moment we lose this level, which is the weekly level, the moment we lost that, everything went bearish. So that level was very important from a weekly perspective. Now we got a change in trend. Similarly here, the weekly levels was there, and the moment we lost that, our trends changed. It's a change in trend, and this was a very important level. And when we lost that, you see how it goes down deeper. And obviously there's a bit of formation and so on. So what we're looking for, we need to see a weekly close above and hold this level. It's going to be a hard area to trade, to tell the truth. Even if it does close above there, you can see this level being rejected as well. That's from the other weekly perspective. I'm going to look at the RSI. It does look like it's turning. It's bottoming. It's doing a bottom formation, and you might get a rejection here and come back down again. But I do see this coming up. Like I said, a breakout trade, and on the daily, that's pretty much it. So I'll just wrap it up on that one there. Now, if you want to look at other charts, I'm looking at ADA. ADA looks crap, very weak, and I can't see it going really strong at all. AVAX looks much better. Actually, it's come to that level there. Okay. Let's see how we look on the non-log. Okay. I'd like to see it break that Fibonacci level. And God, that's looking good. AVAX is looking good. Very much like a W formation as well to the bottom. So we've got a double bottom really. So we've got 1, 2. If this breaks above, and could probably have a third. So we've got higher lows, and that is our resistance. So if this gets up there, comes back down and holds this level, it could pave the way for a nice breakout. So AVAC is one of those ones I want to go long, and I really missed out on an entry on that one. That would have been the perfect entry there. Shows weakness here. Anyway, we'll see what it does here, because that is a resistance level as well, based on that and the trend line. So let's see how we go. Okay, a bit of a rejection there at the moment. What's this chart? 4 hour. Okay. If you're willing to risk a short, it's probably a good time to short there. I think it will consolidate. Actually, this has got the 200 moving average as well, so could act as support. I got my fib fan, and the fib fan was broken, so this could be a nice pocket to the upside. This could be a bull flag, like that, or some sort to the upside. This is currently resistance, and this is currently acting as support. See how that goes. But it's a hard one to trade. I want to see it pull back to this level before I'm interested. I'll run the 10 and 20 moving average to act support. So this is going to be in this range for a while, I think, very similar to this, before it goes up or goes back down. It really depends on what Bitcoin does. Matic, okay, so Matic's not doing the best. Looking to go long on that. FTM, okay. Optimism, Moonbeam is also, they're all very much in a similar situation where they look like they're doing a reversal, and they can continue, and they're all at their near resistance. So it's going to be very difficult to trade from this point onwards if you haven't entered already. And that's Ethereum. So I'm looking at Ethereum to hold this level. Previous, so from a fifth and a Fibonacci level, that's pretty much support. Very much like Bitcoin, looking at the weekly to break that level. Bitcoin on a small time frame, I can see it pulling back. Okay. So if it breaks that, it's probably a good potential to trade. Let's drop that Fibonacci level. This is a 5 minute, so I do see this trend line as an opportunity for small gain. SNX, that's my thoughts on SNX. Strong resistance in synthetics. And let's have a look at, and I know some people there look at TrueBit, so give me a sec. Here's my TrueBit. Okay, TrueBit should be here. Jeez, I've got a few tabs open, that's the problem. I'll get to it. Okay, here we go. Okay, TrueBit. I advise you to buy TrueBit. That's what that's what I say. Long term wise, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. All right, so looking at TrueBit, I do see this squeeze coming in, so I'll just take that out of the picture and take that out. We can see it's in this range, and it's either going to break to the downside or upside. And if it does drop that side level, it's going to go further down to the 13 cents. And so there is a squeeze, and hopefully it does that. It breaks above from here. If it breaks above, it's finding this a support. If Bitcoin does what it's supposed to do, this will do it as well. And then we'll see how we go. But yeah, TrueBit is looking good for short term anyway. Strong resistance here. So that is a strong resistance there. It's got a long way to go. All right. I think I'm done, guys. So if you got any questions, raise them now. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up. Please give me a like on YouTube or follow, and on TradingView as well. And I'll leave it at that, guys. Let me just see if you've got any questions. No questions? All right. I think that's a wrap. Hopefully that's helped you out.